Mulvinaka, Toilili, Alpha. Uh, my name Nethangu Apolosa Vuniwaqa. I'm from Fiji, from the village of Vonuaso in the island of Ngau in the Lomeviti group. I come to New Zealand as a villager or a outside country member. We're all thinking of going overseas. Overseas is a different language or different term that we use. When someone goes overseas, it's something like, oh, he's going somewhere bigger, new. So I think of coming over to overseas. So the first choice was New Zealand. So I got through to New Zealand as a dairy farmer. That's where I start off with. In one of the farm down at Heights. So as a dairy farmer, you know, the work of the dairy farmer, it's about 16 hours per day work. After a few months, I can see that my weight is getting reducing down in size. You don't have to do any more training. Your size is just getting down and down. Yeah, it's getting lighter too as the day goes. Yeah, but just you alone. Then on my journey to New Zealand, I got all my papers with me as a engineering. I come from an engineering field. Few years in the dairy farm, so I get transferred and I get another work as a freelance worker. From there, 2 months from there, then I got the opportunity to get onto Kiwi Rail as a machinist. That's where the trade I was coming up with. I got that certificate back in Fiji for a fitter and turner. So I joined to the Kiwi Rail. I found a job with Kiwi Rail, so I get into there, and I start off with the machining job. Only like 2 years in Kiwi Rail. I went back home for a visit and came back. After that, I just had that accident. I crushed my fingers under the rollers at the workshop. That's why I can see two of my fingers are missing, jammed through the rollers. Yeah, after that, few years later, then that's about 2009, and I did carry all those hurt. Some people like they ask you, "What's wrong with your finger?" First thing comes out to my mind, my eyes dropping out of water. I cry. After a few years of answering questions of that same question, oh, what happened to your finger? The second time, the third time I tell the story, I cry at the same time. I cry because what I'm thinking of, like, I'm not going to get it back. It's about, it's not an easy one. Like after 2009, about more than 5 to 6 years, then it comes up to my mind not to think about that I'm not going to get it back. I just have to go over it and think that, oh, it's not going to be coming back. I just have to move forward. But in my mind, yeah, I'm going to move forward. I have to be brave. But my eyes still fill up with water all the time. I tell the story about my fingers. Then I come up to the time that's saying like, oh, if someone gonna ask me like that, I'm going to do it as a say like, if one of our relative passed away, what are you gonna do? Like, we're gonna cry because our family member is not going to come back. So that's where I get my mind, oh, we all having the same problem. So I try to build up myself to be a man, not to keep on crying. Sometimes they didn't see my the tears on my eyes, but inside me it's hurt. Yeah. Then that's where like 3 years ago, then I got fish out for the Tangata Sailing Malo in the Vakatautua group. So Estelle is just invite me to be part of it. Oh, that's good. So I get into there and at the start of Sailing Malo. And most of the time I've been there like I'm the youngest of us all. down here in Christchurch. It's most of them are older. Almost all of them are not working, and I think all of them are all under benefits with housings, everything. It's only few that they can stay by their own family. Yeah, and I want to say like I'm lucky enough to be picked to be part of the Tōfā Mamao to look after our big brothers, and that's where I am now as a coordinator for them for our big brothers. Yeah, most of the time we know that they had their own feelings. They had their own hardship with them. They can tell us, but it's very hard for us to carry their hardness. What they have, they know how they handle it. But they do ask for assistance, but those assistance, sometimes we can't see those requirements that they want. And also like on the other field that I'm going through now is want to be a good preacher. And that's also one of a challenge inside me. It it starts to hurt me like from last year as I've been picked to work with them. It hurts me like how can you be preacher and you can't even serve or do things for those just beside you as a member of a group. And I'm just giving myself a challenge. I'll do it. I'll do it. Maybe not now. I'll try and improve how the knowledge of God that can save, that can do healing to save all our big brothers. Now that's my next step that I'm going to go through. But at the moment, I'm still trying to get in touch with them and try and connect to the head office of the Tōfā Mamao and just get with the Zoom and our every month basis. Try and get into that at the moment. And as we know, like we come up to a time that it's only the Vakatau tour, or it's not only Tōfā Mamao, it's getting the group together. It's also like other service providers. They also having part of the same group. So maybe the others, they all in that same group too. So for me, it's only under Vakatau tour or under Tōfā Mamao. And that's where most of the time they spend their time in there. And I think that's where also we can try to improve our ways of looking after them so that they can know that we really care or we're really looking after them in our group. Yeah, that's how I commute with the Tangata Sail Malo. Yeah, I'm happy with the Tangata Sail Malo trying to get help for other big brothers and how we can help.
For you, when you had your accident, what sort of impact did it have on you in terms of your work life, your personal? Did you have to stop working? Was that the end of your ability to pursue work, or what sort of challenges did you had to encounter on as you when you had your accident, and then a period of time that you had to try and navigate between what to do with what you ended up with? Can you talk to that if possible?
As I just start in Kiwi Rail that time, I'm only about 4 years or 2 years in Kiwi Rail. We know that we want the work, we don't want to be pushed away again that we are having a good working place, a big company, the field where you were brought up of, learning all those things back home. You got the certificate for that. Like I got it there with me. I've spent like almost 15 years back home doing the same job before I come over to New Zealand. So getting into that, I'm really happy to be there. But in times of like when I got hurt, the doctors gave me about 2 months for light duties like that for me to get back again into action in regarding to my fingers for checkup and all. After all those, after 2 months, they come back again. How are you? Can you start work? Oh, you know that we are still new. Oh, I don't want to look up my. Yeah, I can come. I can come. So I'm just pushing my. Yeah, you can do that. I can go back again to work. It's my mind is not like for living or to look after the herd that I have. It's not that matter. What I was worried about is the job that I had. I want to I want to grab the job so that I can use it for me. So maybe that's one thing that I did look after my finger. I look after it. I've got a family to care for. So that's where it just pushed me forward. And that's maybe it's a different for there's another person of my friend who got hurt about two 2 years ago. Even now, he still feels hurts in his finger, and he just doing a little bit. It's not like really happy about doing things. He can do only some part of the work and not all. After 2 years, maybe it's also getting closer to the pension time or to the downtime of work of 65. Maybe on his mind, that I got a house, I got everything. So he just cruising along as he come to work. Not like me on that day. I'm still young, still looking to have a good life in New Zealand. Just when you get fit, just want to go. So that's where I think that's where the difference. But for him now, he still feel the hurts in his fingers. But for me, I'm just okay. I'm good enough.
Knowing, having the experience that you've gone through now in terms of understanding the various types of supports that are available in Aotearoa, what support do you wish you had then when you first encountered and had your accident? That if it was available, and if you knew then what you know now, what support do you think that it would have made things a little bit easier for you when the accident happened? And as you start asking these questions, oh, I have to feed my family, I have to do this, I have to think less of myself and think of other people. Because it's a natural trait for us Pacific people. It's always for everyone else. We always put everyone else before us. But if you were to think back, knowing what you know now, what sort of support you wish you would have had?
Most of the time, I want to do things by myself. I think we all are. We all want to do things by ourselves. We don't want to get somebody else to come and help you in doing things. And yeah, that's what like even myself at home, I can do. Even I'm doing good cooking at home. Even some of the cook I do, like even for the kids, it's, oh, Dad, your cook is nice. Then Mom, yeah, those other things, and that I'm trying to like I can do things. Yeah, yeah. Even in here, I can bake. Even the mom, she can bake. So I try to do all those things by myself. Computer, try to look at something that I can do to do things. Even by now, like I just tell a story back in our church when we have a like, oh, we're having tea next Sunday. No one gonna do baking. I do baking. Even the women in here, they get from packet 7, count down. Yeah, those other things like I try to do it myself, to do good cooking, do things by myself to help or to do things for the family. Yeah, but looking forward for other people for the support. I think it depends on how like we look at a phone. We look at the how the phone was built. the Nokia will be different from the Samsung, the phone, because the inside build of the two phones is different. But for me, I brought up in a family like my dad is also a pastor, so I think I got that heart of trying to help, try to do things.
It's amazing part of this journey. We encountering different families and different individuals, um, the kind of process they go through because not every, like you said, not everybody's the same. We are raised differently, and sometimes
Yeah.
we learn things growing up, or we don't learn until later on in life. And so everyone goes through uh, some sort of, and what we're noticing is there's always the shock factor when something happens to you. If it's by accident, but if you're a parent, it's the shock factor when you realize your baby. Because every parent, when they carry, they have the world, they wish the world, no, my son or daughter's gonna be this, gonna be that. But the shock factor when the baby is born, and there are some complications, and then after a while they start to look at themselves and go, "Hey, Isa, this is from your family. Yeah, you ate the pig, you stood on this and all of that." And then we go through self-blame. Oh man, it's my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. In terms of your role as someone who pastor to your pastoral nature altogether, what are some of the challenges that you hear our people are going through whenever something that causes an accident or how either a child is born with a medical condition, or some of our families challenging through? What are some of the stuff that we hear that you want to talk to them, hey man, don't think that way? And what are some of your suggestions to them when they encounter these unexpected life curveball, as you were saying just before, from your experience?
To carry on with where you started from. Oh, you want to be like a good, when you grow up, you want to be a good model, have a good work, Everything is good, everything is big that we are telling our kids that they are going to be when they grow old. So I think that's also one point that we're trying to feed them what's big, what is good, what is nice, what is bright. But we didn't tell them that for them to get that, they are going to go through hard times. They'll get through challenges. But we didn't tell them that there are challenges in front of them. We just tell them that, oh, go to school. You're going to have a doctor. You're going to work in the office, not in the farmer. They always in their mind, all things are good. But we didn't teach them that there are hard times. There are rivers to be crossed. There are mountains. There'll be day and night. Night will become after the day. So when they come around onto that, they forget, oh, the night is coming in. The sun is going down, it's getting dark. What am I going to do? The work is finished. No, we didn't tell them that. So that's one point where most of the time we are lost of telling our kids or our most it's not only kids now, it's us who are grown up. We even for us, we forget that there are hard times coming in. And sometimes when the hard time comes in, we start pointing, we start the blaming. Sometimes we point at our parents. Sometimes we point at our pastors who didn't teach us good lesson. We blame our elders who brought us up. We blame those who, like, say, in our village, for those who are, is one of the a policeman in our village is a high commissioner or is working in the Department of Correction. Did they give enough information about how they can rebuild a good village, like a good village with a big policeman inside that village or in that community? or where there's a doctor. Is the doctor using himself around his community? What they can do in a community-wise to be a good, a clean community, like to help? Did they teach them how to do first aid, how to help in terms of accident in the family? If we are not going to do that, then our communities, they'll still searching around for those help when they had hard time. I think it's only us who have good school. It's for us who have to tell them that. We have to teach them. It's not easy.
What would be your encouragement or a word of wisdom from your book of life that you have collected throughout all these years for our families that oh so put it this way, you know how a part of our challenge at the moment in our community is when something happens to us, we try to hide it, eh? We have this shame of, oh no, this is a curse from somewhere. But we live in New Zealand, where there's help for the mental, there's help for the spiritual and the physical, and some of us we found that the disability doesn't really exist with the person that's impacted. It exists in the fear of the carers and the families because you know but we live in New Zealand. Sometimes I understand if we have these challenges back in the village because we don't really have the accessible help that you have here. But when you are here and you've got a loved one that's impacted, what's your encouragement to them? Not to just hold on to it and not to hide, but what should they do from your perspective? What can they do to make sure the person that's impacted has a full life with whatever they're given?
You don't want to show that you're not intelligent enough. You don't want to show that you didn't have a good like a good work. You don't want to show people that you're facing some difficulties. You don't want to show people that that you need help. You don't want to show them. We talk every time, oh, smiling. We come to church with nice clothes, smiling face. We sing, we share. But when we go back, then we can hear, oh, they had a fight, that family, the father and the children. Or this that woman said, oh, they got no cars. All the cars are taken away. Those other things, like, but they don't want to show. That because of that, I think that's what it built to be a good, to be high. Don't want to be low. Don't want to be pointed. Don't want to be less. We don't want to get blamed. But when we are here in New Zealand, but we're still getting all those same ideas with us. But as what we just said today, we have to share. There are places where we can go, asking for help. We can share with the community. You can share. Now we got more service providers who can share their points, who can share the informations. And sometimes for those who know the information, they don't want to share the information. They want to keep it with them or with their family or to whom they know. But they don't want to share for those who really need it. Or we're waiting for them to come to us and then we can help them. Or we look at others differently from what we are supposed to be. Like as a support worker or something like that. Like we have to support all the time at home, at work, in church, anywhere. You're a support worker. You're not only at your work, you're a support worker everywhere. Seems like as a pastor. When you look be a pastor, you should be a pastor in everywhere. You're a pastor in church. You come to the community, you should be a pastor again in the community. You're coming home, you should be a pastor at home. Sometimes we act differently as we go along. We change our clothes as we go along to different places. If something happens, they don't know that, oh, there's a caregiver in there. It doesn't want to show up. Or I'm just beating around.
No, no, no. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is you are reflecting based on your experience and the community that you serve and the people that you care for and those who come to you for understanding better on how to move forward. And so you absolutely answer it to the work that you do. And so my question to you is, and maybe you answered this already, but I always, look at the energy that you have and always wanted to ask a question. So, during the hard times that you went through, so what gave you hope? You know, because it's not easy, because like you said, you raised a child to be a doctor, and then you end up having a challenge, and then what do you do to move forward? Like, for yourself, what gave you hope to continue moving on and to continue pursuing life now that it looks different, as you were saying? What when it happened, what gave you hope to continue?
The hope is for my wife who support me most of the time in try to move forward. As we just coming new to New Zealand, we try to move forward. And the hope is really strong on those days. It's not like when you are a citizen or you've been your pension, your hope of doing things extra, it's reducing down because you got everything you want. As you're trying to get a house, trying to get a good car, we're trying to get things for the kids. Your hope is still survive for like 90%, hoping that you're going to get it. So the hoping for to move forward, it's still strong by that time. I think that's what also pushed me through. So like for my fingers, when it hurts, I know that I have to feed my children. I have to support my family. I have to work. If I'm going to rely on my finger, it's hurt or something. Oh, maybe I have to go back, or maybe I have to change my work. But I did it. Just after that, when I start working with Kiwi Rail, they ask, okay, now you can apply for your residence. They pay for it. I said, that's what the good hope that I was willing to push, do the job. Yeah,
I like it. Whatever happens, keep moving.
yeah, keep moving.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you very much, Minaka Bakalevu. That was very inspiring sharing. I like your spirit about things, and I think uh, you know that's life, and I like how you describe the journey. And things will happen to us, as they
Yeah,
always say, expect the unexpected. Uh, uh, and sometimes, and you're right. Sometimes I think the as parents we want our kids to have the best, so we try to give
yeah,
them all positive things in life, but we forget that we must also be the one to tell them, hey, one day you might walk out and you might accidentally get bitten by a dog, but just remember, it's just a bite, but you must keep going. Find another way to keep
yeah.
pushing. So, thank you very much
Mm.
for sharing today. Anything else on your mind you want to share before we end our talent?
Yeah, for supporting the Tōfā Mamao, I'm still looking around for ways that I can support our older brothers. And yeah, is that like I've still got the desire to help, but how to help them? But one point is that as a pastor, I'll do my part. Not now, maybe later, when I get some more strength and try to throw it out some power onto all those bent arms who can't walk, try to get them back again into a living good machine. And that's the aim now.